Israeli airstrikes on Lebanon continue this morning with a new attack on Beirut and reports of nearly 600 people dead in Lebanon. Now, there have been almost daily exchanges of violence at the Israel-Lebanon border since Hamas attacked Israel nearly a year ago now on October 7th. North Central College professor William Muck joins me now. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you, too. You know, the United States is sending additional troops to the region on top of the 40,000 that are already stationed there. What are the odds that the United States could get involved in fighting there?
I think it's pretty rare that we'd see any U.S. involvement. I think this is more symbolic than anything. This is the United States sending a message to all of the actors that the United States is paying attention and we don't want this to escalate. I think it would be very, very rare to see the United States involved, but not impossible, right? I think that's what's scary about this situation is there is the potential for even more escalation. But I think in general, what we saw yesterday is more of a symbolic move to say the United States is taking this very, very seriously.
And it hits so close to home because we just reported this morning that members of the Indiana National Guard are being sent there. They're going to be overseas for 9 months coming up. The new president of Iran spoke in New York Tuesday at the UN General Assembly, and he said that he does not want to see the war between Iranian proxies, Hezbollah and Hamas, and Israel turn into a broader conflict. You think that's just lip service from him?
No, I think generally the new president of Iran is much more of a moderate, and I think it's a sign that Iran, and I think also Lebanon and Hezbollah do not want to see this escalate. And I think that's part of the reason that Israel is pushing this right now. They realize that Iran is not in a good position to have a conflict, nor is Hezbollah. So it's creating a space for Israel to pursue a military solution. So I think in general, I think we can take the Iranian president at his word that he probably would like to see this de-escalate. Now, the question is Iran willing to cut back on its support of Hezbollah, Hamas, and other proxies? That's a totally different question.
You know, and this is so hard to follow, Professor, if you're an everyday American just trying to focus on what you need to focus on to get by each day. In your opinion, what should Americans be focused on right now with this conflict, if anything?
I think in general, Americans should hope and want this to de-escalate, right? I understand that everybody has interest in the area. Israel is pursuing its interests, Hezbollah. But I think the United States' interest, and I think Americans would love to see some sort of de-escalation. I think that starts with the Israel-Hamas conflict. Everything else emanates from that. So, you know, if the Biden administration can get some sort of ceasefire there, that makes all these other issues get better. So I think that's where we should be focusing our attention to say, let's start there. Let's solve that problem. And I think all the other problems will follow suit.
Last question for you. We've got an election less than 6 weeks away. How do you think the two presidential candidates differ on how they'll handle this conflict?
Well, I think there's a big difference here. So Donald Trump has said that he much more supports Israel and is willing to back Israel. There's sort of I think there's a much more pro-Israel position there. Now, Kamala Harris has also said she's very, very pro-Israel, but I think she also appreciates the complexity. So I think her foreign policy would reflect a continuation of what Biden's done. I think Donald Trump would be much more forcefully behind Israel. And again, that would have ramifications in the region. And I think, and Israel and the other actors are well aware that the United States has a presidential election and that it will matter for U.S. foreign policy.
All right. Professor Muck, thank you.